I am Brother John Allen Green, a Franciscan friar and a hermit from Johannesburg, and this is my weekly podcast, Reflections from the Hermitage. Truth has gone missing, not only from here in southern Africa, but in many countries around the world. Yes, truth is to be found nailed to a cross. Jesus nailed to a cross. When the guardians, the lawyers, the teachers, and the religious leaders align themselves with corruption, truth is a victim. Ridicule, violence, mayhem, and murder on the cross follows. When religion and economics entwine, truth can never be tolerated. Truth must be eliminated. We now see the powerful and the wealthy, with the corrupt new colonialists, supported and blessed by the corrupted political elite, the religious and social structures of our country. We see the wealth of our nations flowing through the portals of state entities into the ever-thirsty abyss of bribery, corruption, and patronage. Faith and trust have deserted us as we fear for the little we have left. This is the same fear that is used to manipulate us towards intolerance of each other, intolerance of each other's cultures, intolerance of strangers, intolerance of foreigners. This is the fear that moves us towards entitlement to that we have not earned, a smokescreen of petty commercials and ready cultural slogans that are easy to chance and silence the opposition so easily. With one voice is the people of God. We must give witness to the truth of what we have seen, to the truth that cannot be unseen. You see, truth does not become truth just because it is spoken more loudly or more often. Jesus speaks to us beyond any glib platitudes, into the reality of his time 2,000 years ago. Jesus speaks to us beyond our piety of indifference, into the reality of our own time also. Jesus speaks to the landless and the poor and those who live from one meal to the next, from one paycheck to the next. We cannot allow the gospel to be usurped by the proud and the greedy, and we must not allow the gospel to be domesticated to the presence of injustice. No, God is not the benevolent colonial absentee landlord dealing with ungrateful tenants that some of us would have us believe. God is not the wealthy and powerful householder who can afford to wait 5 years for a yield of wine, while the disinherited landless tenants eat and pay from crop to crop. God is not the naive landowner who sends his son to be murdered by ignorant and unthinking tenants. Jesus specifically distances himself from the rich and the powerful, who can afford armed patrols and private armies. Jesus lays down his life on the cross with all the victims of injustice, with all the victims of scapegoating. God is love, out of which forgiveness flows. Where there is no forgiveness, there is no love, and we have then excluded God. Jesus was plainly understood then, as Jesus can be plainly understood now. Jesus speaks of foreign landlords who disinherit the people from the bounty of their lands and leave their wealth, built on the sweat of others, to their own offspring. Jesus speaks of injustice and of the spiraling circle of violence that continues because of the rejection of God and of God's law and of God's grace. This is the prophecy of Scripture 800 years before the Christ event. The prophecy reassures us and gives us hope that all the tyrants and all the plunderers in all the ages of humanity, that all the lies, all the manipulation, every domination will eventually flounder and destroy itself on that cornerstone that is the cross of truth, of peace, of justice, and of love. Evil devours itself until there is nothing left. Evil must devour itself and eventually destroy itself. This is our hope and this is our faith. Wherever we have conspired with or cooperated in any corruption or injustice, Lord, forgive us and have mercy. Wherever we have abused or manipulated the word of Scripture and God's will through our own selfishness or pride, Christ, plead our cause for mercy. Wherever we have turned our face away from injustice through fear or indifference, Lord, hear our voice, heal us, and lead us into your peace. May the Lord grant you peace.